Hello, I'm IBXToyCat and welcome back to Seed Sunday. Seed Sunday is a weekly series I run on my channel where I show you seeds from Minecraft Xbox and Minecraft PlayStation that are particularly unique and worth checking out in some way. And this week's seed that I'm going to be showing you is one from a few weeks ago, in fact. The seed is IBX26, and this is a seed I've shown you that was really good because it has one of every single structure in the game on it. So I'll leave a link in the description if you want to learn more about the seed itself. But what I want to talk about today is how you can improve what you might think is an already perfect seed, because this might seem like a weird thing to say, but basically a lot of stuff that people like in a world isn't actually determined by the seed. Like, for instance, this entire terrain is determined by the seed, but there are some things that are randomly generated when you first enter a world, and there's a few tips that I picked up because I open like 50 plus seeds a week that might not be common knowledge to all of you. So basically a way to improve a good seed, which whether you find it from a Seed Sunday playlist or elsewhere, and yeah, hopefully it's the sort of thing you do enjoy, because if you like your Seed Sunday, this is a way to improve them. So please do like the video if you do like it. It helps out the channel a lot and lets me know you do like it. And let's get straight into this one, shall we? And let's start. I'll also be talking about what's predetermined and what's randomly generated. Well, and let's get straight into this by talking about what I like in a seed. So there are a few really key components why I like a seed, because the first one is, having somewhere flat to build on. It has to be ideally near the spawn, because, by the way, this is the spawn of the seed, but it has to be somewhere near the spawn, and it has to be reasonably flat, because the more flat an area is, the easier it is to build there. So, for instance, here, as long as you just clog up the water, then you've got yourself an amazingly flat piece of ground that you can build like a massive mansion on, or whatever you want to build on, but it means that if you want to build in survival, you don't have to go through the effort of flattening, which is, tedious to a lot of people, until much, much later on. So, flat ground somewhere near the spawn. Then I like to have a good mixture of biomes somewhere in there, so that you can actually, have all the resources from each one. So a jungle at least, a snow biome at least, a desert at least, ideally a mushroom biome if you can, but they're pretty rare. That sort of stuff. Thirdly, I like to have villages, which offer me good trades. I really, really love it when you get, like priests that will offer you eye offenders. And fourth, I like to have a really good head start on the seed in other ways. So blacksmith chests giving me diamonds, having a skeleton spawner, like this one down here, which may any form of spawner, which gives you free XP if you mine it, plus, oh hello creeper, and a bat, but plus it gives you access to like saddles, all that sort of stuff. That's just a massive head start. Diamonds, or good loot from chests and stuff is what I really like in seeds. So with those four things said, you might think, oh yeah, ToyCat, you can totally find a seed which has all four of those things, but that's not entirely true, because there are some ways you have to kind of play around with the system if you want to definitely get all those things in your world, and that's what I'm going to be explaining today. So let's get straight into this by explaining the first tip, because this is my biggest tip if you play on the Xbox One, on the PS4. It does, of course, doesn't apply to last gen, but if you do play on either of the current gen consoles, when you load up a seed, so this one is called IBX26 for instance, what you want to do, we'll go into creative for now, one thing that's so important in a seed is always load up the world on classic first. This is the 360 or PS3 sized world. Obviously on there you can it automatically goes this way, but always load it up on that way first. The reason you want to do this is that because those worlds are smaller, they have to jam more stuff in there. So that means that if you were to load up the same seed on small, which is almost the same size, then that means that instead of getting 3 villages, you'd only get 2, for instance. And it's just such a key thing. You always want to make sure you load up on classic first, and then later expand it if you want to have one of these world sizes. So yeah, pro tip for you right there. You might also want to disable auto-save while you're here, and a bonus chest is also a pretty cool thing that isn't turned by the seed. So yeah, we'll show you that for now. So yeah, now you want to do, what you want to do is you want to load up the world. Let's just go in here, shall we? And now I want to explain what parts of the seed are going to be generated by the seed and what aren't. So right now you can see it's generating the spawn area, it's taking the seed and it's turning that into the world generation, and it means that no matter how many times you load up this world, you'll get this exact same spawn right here. You'll get this, this hole in the ground. If you dig down, you find the skeleton spawner. You get this really nice plains biome that's pretty easy to build on. But there are some things that won't be the same each time, and that's what I want to cover in today's video. So first of all, the bonus chest. This does actually change, I believe it's gone back and forth between changing and not, but generally speaking, this does change each time that you load it in. But you can actually break this over and over again, so that's not an issue. Because if you don't like what you get, you can break it, and you either get a copy of it or you get more stuff. So that's a pretty cool thing you can do with the bonus chest. But moving on from that, there are some things that you might think are based on the seed that are in fact not. So the most obvious example, besides the 2 things I've covered so far, are desert temples and jungle temples. So I mention this every now and then, but it's a hard thing to grasp, and I didn't believe it for the longest time. But for some reason, even though a blacksmith chest and a mob spawner always have the same loot each time you load them up, when you go to a desert temple or a jungle temple, which, you know, both came in the same update, for some reason, their loot is not based on the seeds. So each time I go to these, this will be different from the Seed Sunday, for instance. Let's just break that pressure plate to resist the temptation. Each time you go into these, you'll actually see it's entirely different sets of loot. So this time we just got a lot of iron and some bones and stuff, but it is actually randomly generated. But maybe that'll be fixed at some point, or maybe it's intentional design. But, you know, this is the only one that let's just actually, I want to blow this up, it'll be cathartic. But yeah, each time you load up the seed, you'll get an entirely different set of this stuff. So that is very enjoyable to watch. But so yeah, that's something you want to bear in mind. If you want to get the perfect set of loot from there, you might want to reload the world a few times, because you can get diamonds, you can get good enchanted books, and that is something worth getting. So I'll just show you again with the jungle temple, which I believe is over here. So yeah, you're noticing, even though I haven't been in the sea before, I can know the exact directions. This is because the vast majority of the seed is determined based on the seed, but a few things aren't. Another thing that while we're on the way there, it seems like it might be determined based on the seed, is rain. So the way rain works is there's always a rain timer, which is, you know, ticking down to your next rain thing, and this is, you know, decided when you load into the world. But for some reason, this isn't actually based on the seed. Because at one point I tried to find a seed which was perfect for no rain for the longest time, but in fact, this is just randomly determined when you load up the world. So if you're going to play a world with friends, and because you know you won't be able to sleep, that you want to make sure when you first go in, you don't have to, you know, have rain for the longest time. Also, I'll just show you the chest here. As you can see, this will be different to what I showed in the Seed Sunday, and, you know, it'll be different yet the next when you go in here. But yeah, the funny thing about rain is that if you want to get that perfect, you know, set where there's no rain for the longest time, you have to load up the world once, you know, save it as soon as you get in, which I should have done when I first got in here, like press save. But then what you want to do is you want to just wait for as long as you can and see how long it takes to rain. If it takes more than about 5 days, then that means that you've got a pretty good one. And if it rains after the very first day, that's probably a seed worth right away. So yeah, there's a few really, really strange things like this with seeds that aren't based on the seed, and it is pretty cool. So, yeah, let's just cover the final one, which you might think is finally based on seed, but it's not. And that is actually NPC villages. So, these will give you the same trades each time you load up the world once you've saved it, but this is randomly generated and not based on the seed. I wish it were based on the seed, because there are some seriously good trades. I really love getting IF Enders from villages, for instance. I love it when blacksmiths will offer you diamond pickaxes for like 8 emeralds. And I love, you know, getting enchantments from I think it's the church, the priests that give you enchantments too. But yeah, there are some really, really cool trades, and I wish they were based on the seed, but they aren't. So to kind of sum up kind of everything I've spoken about in today's video, if you want to make a seed even more perfect, you know, to why I'm talking about this randomly generated versus you know, non-randomly generated stuff, is what you want to do is you want to first of all load up the world in classic, because then you'll get the maximum amount of villages and structures in this first part of the world. Second of all, what you want to do is you want to, you know, save it as soon as you enter the world, look around the world, make sure you get the right randomly generated stuff, because you can't redecide this stuff. If you want to redecide your village trades, you have to, you know, breed an entire new set of villagers. If you don't like this trade, you know, you have to kill him and then, you know, breed another one if you want to do that, and that's going to make the whole village hate you a little bit. So yeah, the same thing goes for these jungle temples and desert temples. If you want to get really good loot, if you want to get a really nice enchantment book, you can just load up the world over and over again until you do it. Whether you count that as cool or not is entirely your choice. That's also a thing you can do. And finally, if you want to go the longest time without rain on multiplayer, or in general, you know, load up a world, leave it for some amount of time, and see how long it goes there. And while we're here anyway, and I'm giving you a fun fact, the maximum time between rain is 7.5 days. So if you get a seed that's like 7 days before the first bit of rain, that, you know, or you've got a world which does that, that is a world worth keeping and using as like a base for when you do that over and over again. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope I did make some sense somewhere in there. Just in case I didn't, and you're like, Toy Cat, I don't think I've understood anything you've said in the last 8 minutes, then I'll just show you a cool little glitch. So if you have a block below you and you left trigger and right trigger at the exact same moment, then you'll actually float on top. Okay, yeah, you can actually float where the block used to be. I'm proving myself wrong right here, but wait, let's do it. I'm gonna prove me right. Okay, oh not. But yeah, if you do this at the exact right moment, you can actually break the block and float on top of it at the exact same time, which here I'm breaking the block below it and placing the block, which is very, very odd. But yeah, hopefully I'm making some sense. There we go, I've done it. So if you press if you press both triggers at the same time, you'll float on the block. Gravel is the worst example for this because it floats, it does the whole thing. But you see here, if you break them at the exact same time, you will float on the block usually. But I'm proving myself wrong, so I'm going to stop talking before I embarrass myself some more. I hope you did enjoy the video. Please do like it if you did like it, share it if you really liked it, and subscribe if you are new around here. I do videos like this every single day on my channel, and if you subscribe, you'll see them daily on your homepage. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.